So, dear students of 10th standard, now we are going to study about periodic classification of elements. The previous class that we have discussed about what is modern periodic table and who devised the modern periodic table and features about groups and periods. Now, I am going to ask few questions from the previously learned topic. What is called modern periodic table? What is called modern periodic table? And also it is given, see, the modern periodic table is a tabular arrangement of elements in rows and columns, highlighting the regular repetition of properties of elements. So modern periodic table is a tabular arrangement of elements in rows and columns, highlighting the regular repetition of properties of the elements. And who devised the modern periodic table? Henry Moseley, a British scientist in 1912, discovered a new property of element called atomic number. Based on this atomic number, using the increasing order of atomic number, he devised the modern periodic table. And what is called a modern periodic law? The physical and chemical properties of the elements are the periodic functions of their atomic numbers. Modern periodic law is the physical and chemical properties of the elements are the periodic functions of their atomic number. Then what is called atomic number? Because atomic number plays very important role in the classification of modern periodic table. So mostly devise the modern periodic table based on atomic number. So what is called atomic number? Atomic number is nothing but the total number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom. The total number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom. This also can be defined in yet another form, that is the total number of electrons revolve around the nucleus of an atom. Because in a neutral atom, these protons and electrons are always equal to one another. Then only an atom is going to be a neutral. Then, what are periods? All these topics already we discussed. Also, you have learned in 9th standard also. What are periods? The horizontal rows are called periods. The horizontal rows are called periods. So there are 7 periods in the modern periodic table. First period consists only 2 elements. It's the shortest period, hydrogen and helium. Second period consists 8 elements, atomic number 3 to 10, lithium to neon, short period. Third period consists 8 elements, atomic number starting from 11 to 18, from sodium to argon. This is also short period. And fourth period, atomic number from 19 to 36, elements from potassium to krypton. This constitutes 18 elements, 8 normal elements, 10 transition elements. Fifth period, which is a long period. Fourth period also long period. Both constitute 18 elements. Fifth period, atomic number starting from 37 to 54. Elements from rubidium to xenon. 8 normal elements and 10 transition elements. So fourth and fifth periods are long periods. And sixth period, atomic number starting from 55 to 86. This is the longest period because it contains 32 elements from cesium to radon. And in these 32 elements, 8 normal elements, 10 transition elements and 14 inner transition elements. The last period, 7th period, atomic number 87 to 118. and 32 elements, but the new elements are going to be included after the authentication of UPSC. The new elements are going to be included in the 7th period. So first period is the shortest period, second and third periods are short period, fourth and fifth periods are long period, sixth period and seventh periods are longest period. Sometimes seventh period also called as incomplete period, because this period only going to include the new elements which are going to be discovered. Then next, features of groups. What are called groups? The vertical columns in the modern periodic table, it is called group. There are totally 18 groups in the modern periodic table, and based on some common properties, these groups are classified into different families. First group is alkali metal, second group alkaline earth metal. Group 3 to 12 are called transition metal, 13 boron family, 14 carbon family, 15 nitrogen family, 16 oxygen family or chalcogen family, 17 halogen family, and 18 noble gases. And elements 3 to 12 are called transition elements. Transition elements. Also, lanthanide and actinides are included in this element, which are called inner transition elements. Inner transition elements. Then, now we are going to discuss about periodic trends in the properties. Periodic trends in the property. So, periodic means that anything which repeat itself after a regular interval, it is called periodic. Anything which repeat itself after a regular interval is called periodic, and this behavior and this property or phenomenon is called periodicity. For example, if we take periodical means the magazine occurring after the regular interval of time, a newspaper or magazine which are published at regular interval of time is called periodical. Similarly, the properties are going to be regularly or evenly changed after a regular interval of time. That is called a periodicity. So this periodic property is used in the atom to discuss about the properties of atomic radius, ionic radius, ionization energy, electronegativity, electron affinity. So these properties in the atom show some regular periodicity. So regular periodicity means it regularly going to change its property from one atom to another atom when we go from left to right in the periodic table, or when we move from top to bottom along the group. So what is the main significance of the modern periodic table is that the modern periodic table gives a clear understanding of the general properties and trends within a group or a period to predict with a considerable accuracy. So, the modern periodic table gives a clear understanding of the general properties and trends within a group or period to predict with considerable accuracy the properties of any element, even though that element may be unfamiliar. And we are going to discuss some periodic trend of the properties of the atoms. Now, the first one is atomic radius. Atomic radius. The first three lines. You are given the page of the book, so you can underline or you can take down in your notebook. What is called atomic radius? The first 3-4 lines is a definition. Atomic radius of an atom is defined as the distance between the center of its nucleus and the outermost shell containing the valence electron. Atomic radius of an atom is defined as the distance between the center of its nucleus and the outermost shell containing the valence electron. So this is the simple definition, and we cannot measure the atomic radius directly for example for the isolated atom, but except noble gases helium, neon, argon. And there are two types of atomic radius. There are two types of atomic radius. One is called covalent radius and another one is metallic radius. Two types of atomic radius, covalent radius and metallic radius. So this depends upon the nature of bonding between the concerned atom. For example, atomic radius in metal is called metallic radius, copper, aluminium, iron, gold. So the radius between these atoms of the metal is termed as metallic radius. So what is the definition for a metallic radius? It is defined as half the distance between the nuclei of adjacent metal atom. So in this figure 8.2, that going to show the metallic radius, that is half the distance between the nuclei of adjacent metal atom. Adjacent means the next atom. The two atoms are near. So what is the distance of the distance between the nuclei of the adjacent atom is called a metallic radius. Then next, what is called a covalent radius? Covalent radius is mainly for non-metal. So metallic radius for metal, covalent radius for non-metal. A non-metallic element like a fluorine, chlorine. So for these non-metallic elements, the atomic radius is known as covalent radius. How to define? It is defined as half the distance between the nuclei of two covalently bonded atoms of the same element in a molecule. So once I repeat, it is defined as half the distance between the nuclei of two covalently bonded atoms of the same element in a molecule. That is called a covalent radius. For example, if we take hydrogen molecule formed by the combination of two hydrogen atom. So two hydrogen atom bonded with one another to form one H2 molecule. So in hydrogen, the distance between two hydrogen nuclei of the molecule is 0.74 angstrom. That unit is called angstrom, which is used. That unit is angstrom, ANGSTROM, angstrom. It is a unit of distance equivalent to 10 power minus 8 centimeter. That angstrom, it is a unit to measure the distance that is equal to 10 power minus 8 centimeter. And same, what is the distance between two hydrogen nuclei in hydrogen molecule is 0.74 angstrom, but in the definition it is given half the distance between the nuclei. So when you are going to divide by 2, 0.74 by 2, that is equal to 0.37 angstrom. So it is the covalent radius of the atoms bonded in the hydrogen molecule. The covalent radius of the hydrogen atoms bonded to form a hydrogen molecule is 0.37 angstrom. And see, when you look at the variation of the atomic radii in the periodic table, there are two distinct trends, changes. Trend means changes. Along the period from left to right, the atomic radius of the element decreases. So you have to note down these points. First point, along the period from left to right, when you take the modern periodic table, along the period when you go from left to right, atomic radius decreases, but along the group from top to bottom, the atomic radius increases. So the increase down a group is due to the increase in the valence shell number down the group. So when you go from top to bottom, what happens? See, the valence number goes on increasing. Valence number increase means when atomic number increase, so valence number also increase. As the shell number increases, the distance between the valence shell and the nucleus increases. So shell number increases means the electrons are going very apart from the nucleus. So Because of this, when you go from top to bottom, the atomic radius increases. But at the same time, in contrast, when you're going to move from left to bottom in the modern periodic table, the shell number remains same. So along the period, if you take a particular period, the shell number will not change. Shell number will not change, but only there will be changes in the number of proton. It is the atomic number only going to change. Atomic number only going to change. So more and more positive charges are going to be given in the nucleus. When more number of proton in the nucleus mean the positive charge increase. So it possesses a strong attraction over the electron, and thus electron cloud shrinks. Because of this, because of the strong attraction by the nucleus, what happens? See, the electron cloud shrink towards the nucleus. So atomic size going to decrease. Atomic size going to decrease when we move from left to right in the modern periodic table. So you have to keep 2 points in your mind. One is, when you move from left to right in the modern periodic table, when you move from left to right in the modern periodic table, atomic radius decreases. Atomic radius decreases because more positive charge of the nucleus impose more strong attraction towards the electron. So electron cloud shrink towards the nucleus. Because of this, the atomic size is going to be decreased. But when we go from top to bottom along a period, what happens? See, that shell number increase. Shell number increase. The force of attraction is not enough to bring the electrons towards the nucleus. So there will be no change of electron cloud. So electron cloud more or less increases compared to the when you go from left to right in the modern periodic table. So you have to understand, when you take the modern periodic table, lithium atomic number 3, lithium atomic number 3, beryllium 4 and boron, carbon. So when I go from left to right in the periodic table, that is lithium to boron, lithium atomic number 3. So it contains only 3 proton. But when we go to boron, atomic number 5. Atomic number 5. So the number of proton increase, more positive charge. So it's going to attract the electron cloud towards the nucleus. So what happens? See, the atomic radius decreases. At the same time, when you go down the group, that is lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, what happens? See that the valence shell increases. So the valence shell, that means, see, when the number of electron 11 for sodium, 19 for potassium, rubidium 37. So the valence shell increases. What happens? See, because of this, the number of electron also going to increase. The energy in the nucleus is not enough to bring the electron cloud towards the nucleus. So because of this, there will be no change. Or when we go along the period, what happens? See that valence shell, the number of valence shell increases. Due to increase in the valence shell, the distance between the valence shell and the nucleus increase. The distance between the valence shell and nucleus increase. So along the group from top to bottom, the atomic radius increases. Atomic radius increases. Then next, ionic radii. The ionic radii, it is defined as the distance from the center of the ion up to the point where it exerts influence on the bottom, on the electron cloud of the ion. So I repeat, it is defined as the distance from the center of the nucleus of the ion up to the point where it exerts its influence on the electron cloud of the ion. So this ionic radii only for ions. It is for ions. You know already, you have learned already what are called ions. Ions are nothing but ions are charged particles. How these charges are obtained? These charges are obtained to the atom by losing or gaining electron. So during the chemical reaction, these electrons are going to be transferred or shared to form a stable molecule. So when ions are formed by losing or gaining electron, the charges are going to be obtained to the atom. Because of these charges, they are going to be termed as cation and anion. Suppose when neutral atom lose an electron, it becomes a positively charged ion, that is called a cation. And whereas the gain of electron by a neutral atom to form negatively charged ion called anion. So cation is a positively charged ion formed with the loss of electron. Anion is negatively charged ion formed by the gain of electron. So size of the ion is important to determine the behavior of the solution and structure of the ionic solid. The size of the cation is always smaller, and you have to mark it. Note down, the size of the cation, that is a positively charged ion, is always smaller compared to the neutral atom. For example, if we take sodium neutral atom is going to be smaller compared to the sodium positively charged ion. At the same time, when you take anion, the anion is larger than the neutral atom. If we take a chlorine atom to chloride ion, so chloride ion is the size of the chloride ion is larger than the chlorine atom. And we are going to discuss what is the reason for this. For instance, lithium and sodium lose the single electron from their outermost energy level to form cation. The ions so formed are smaller because the remaining electrons are at the inner shell and attracted more strongly by the nucleus. So this is the reason why the ions formed is so smaller in the cation. Example, lithium and sodium. The ion formed is so smaller because the remaining electrons are inner shell, and these electrons are more strongly attracted by the nucleus because the number of proton is going to be greater compared to the number of electron when the electron loss take place in an atom. So what happens, see, the more force is imposed on the electron shell, so the electron shell sink towards the nucleus. So because of this, the cation is smaller compared to the neutral atom. Then if we take a non-metal like fluorine, chlorine, these ions become greater in size, larger in size, because they gain electron. When electrons are added to the shell, the charge on the nucleus is not enough to hold the increased number of electrons, but the charge in the nucleus is going to be same. There will be no change in the number of proton never going to change. Only changes take place in the outermost shell. The electrons are going to be lost or gained in the outermost shell. So during this formation of anion, what takes place, electrons are added to the outermost shell, valence shell. Electrons are added to the valence shell, and there will be no change in the number of proton. So more electrons compared to the proton, the less number of proton, not having more force, I will not impose more force of attraction towards the electron shell to bring closer to the nucleus. So because of this, what happens, see, the increased number of electron are as closely as it hold the electron in the neutral atom. So when electrons are added the charge on the nucleus is not enough to hold the increased number of electrons as closely as it holds the electron in the neutral atom. So in the neutral atom, the electrons are going to be closely packed because the same number of proton and same number of electron. So there will be a neutralization take place. So there will be no change in the electron cloud or in the size of the atom or size of the ion. So similar to the atomic radius and the ionic radius, both the properties are going to be decrease along the period. So when you go along the period, what happens? See, atomic radius also decrease, ionic radius also decrease. But at the same time, when we go from top to bottom, when we move down along the group, what happens? See, that atomic radius and ionic radius also increases. So cation, which is smaller than the corresponding neutral atom, cation is smaller than the corresponding neutral atom. What is the reason? When electron lost, the remaining electron are at the inner shell, going to be inner shell, and attract more strongly by the nucleus. So that's why you see the cation is going to be smaller. At the same time, anion is larger compared to the neutral atom because when electrons are gained, the charge on the nucleus is not great. The charge on the nucleus is not great because of some more number of protons, same number of proton, because there will be no changes in the number of proton. So number of protons are going to be same. So the charge on the nucleus is not great enough to hold the increased number of electron as closely in the neutral atom. So because of this reason, anion is larger compared to the neutral atom. And along the period, when we go left to right in the modern periodic table, atomic radius decreases because nucleus impose more attraction on electron. This is the reason atomic radius decreases, because nucleus impose more attraction on electron. And ionic radius also decreases because electrons attracted most strongly by the nucleus. Electrons attracted most strongly by the nucleus. Because of this reason, ionic radius also decreases. So along the period, when we go from left to right, atomic radius also decreases, ionic radius also decreases. And along the group, that when you go down from top to bottom, atomic radius also increases, ionic radius also increases. Atomic radius increases due to the increase in the valence shell number. Ionic radius increases due to the charge on the nucleus is not great enough to attack the increased number of electron. Due to the less charge on the nucleus, is not enough to attract the increased number of electron. So due to this reason, the atomic radius is less, or the atomic radius decreases, ionic radius decreases when you go from left to right in the periodic table. But at the same time, along the group, when we go from top to bottom, atomic radius also increases, ionic radius also increases. So you have to go through these things. What is called atomic radius? First you have to know what is called atomic radius. That is nothing but the distance between the center of its nucleus and the outermost shell containing the valence electron. It is defined as the distance between the center of its nucleus and the outermost shell containing valence electron. And there are two types: covalent radius, metallic radius. Covalent radius, metallic radius. And atomic radius in the metal is called metallic radius. This is nothing but half the distance between the nuclei of adjacent metal atom. And what is called covalent radius? Covalent radius mainly for the non-metallic elements. So that is half the distance between the nuclei of two covalently bonded atoms of the same element in a molecule. For example, hydrogen molecule, chlorine molecule, like that. Then next one, ionic radii. What is ionic radii, or how will you define the ionic radii? It is defined as the distance from the center of the nucleus of the ion up to the point where it exerts its influence on the electron cloud of the ion. And there are two types of ion that you have already learned, cations and anion. Cations are formed by losing electron from the neutral atom. So cations are nothing but positively charged ion. These positively charged ions are formed by losing one or more electron from the neutral atom. The anions are negatively charged ion. These negatively charged ions formed by gain of one or more electron from the neutral atom. And also you have to know that is the atomic radius and ionic radius also decreases along the period from left to right, also increases down the group when we go from top to bottom. And next see ionization energy. So this ionization energy topic we will discuss in the next session. So, and you have to note down all this in your classwork and revise and get the knowledge of modern periodic table. Modern periodic table already we have discussed in the 9th standard also. Again we are moving ahead with a higher order of thinking to enhance your knowledge on the property of the elements. And you have to revise what is modern periodic law, the features of modern periods, horizontal rows and all the 7 period, and what is modern periodic table. And you should know to read the elements in the modern periodic table and the features of groups. There are 18 groups. The vertical columns are called groups, and these groups are classified based on the some properties like various families and inner transition elements. And next see the next topic that we have discussed now is periodic trends in the properties. So you have to revise all these things and make a note of all these points in your classwork, and without laziness you have to prepare and acquire the knowledge of this periodic classification, also the previous lesson atomic structure. So don't waste the time, prepare and acquire the knowledge. Wish you all the best. Thank you.